Stop scrolling. This is for you right now. If there's a 1-cent Lincoln wheat penny anywhere near you and the date ends in a 5, do not spend it. I am serious. People toss these into tip jars and vending machines every single day, and that's how silent fortunes disappear. These 1-cent wheat look rare. That's the trap behind closed doors. Collectors are fighting over them quietly, aggressively, with real auction shock numbers that make no sense unless you know the secret. Nobody talks about these because the less people know, the easier they are to grab. Check your pocket. Now this video only gets scarier, rarer, and valuable as we go, so stay with me to the end. This is SF Coins USA, and these coins change everything. The story of the 1956 wheat penny begins in a time when small copper coins carried the everyday heartbeat of American commerce, passing through millions of hands across cities, farms, and small towns, never imagined to become hidden treasures decades later. This coin was produced by the United States Mint, the official authority responsible for creating circulating coinage, and in 1956 enormous quantities of pennies were struck to meet the growing needs of a rapidly expanding post-war economy. The coin circulated widely throughout the United States of America, where pennies were essential for daily purchases, vending machines, and chain transactions, making them one of the most handled coins in the country. On the front of the coin appears a familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln, honoring the beloved president whose leadership during the Civil War preserved the nation, making his image one of the most recognized in American history. The original design was created decades earlier by sculptor Victor David Brenner, whose work gave the penny a dignified yet simple appearance that remains loved by collectors even today. The 1956 penny without a mint mark was produced in Philadelphia, and millions entered circulation immediately, mixing with older coins and traveling across the nation in pockets, cash registers, and piggy banks. Because pennies were heavily used, most surviving coins today show wear, dull coloring, scratches, and dirt buildup from decades of circulation, storage, and exposure to moisture and air. Many people mistake dirty or darkened coins as worthless, but experienced collectors know that even worn coins can carry value if they show rare minting variations or remain in better than average condition. Collectors carefully inspect coins for strong details in Lincoln's hair, sharp lettering, and clean wheat stalks on the reverse, since sharper designs often indicate coins that escaped heavy circulation. In rare situations, minting errors such as doubled lettering, off-center strikes, or unusual metal variations can transform an ordinary penny into a highly sought-after collector item. Stories often circulate online claiming common pennies are worth millions, and while such claims are usually exaggerated, exceptional coins in nearly perfect condition have indeed sold for surprisingly high prices. Many families unknowingly stored rolls of pennies in jars or drawers during the 1950s and 1960s, meaning untouched coins sometimes appear today when old collections are rediscovered. One exciting part of coin collecting is that valuable coins sometimes hide among ordinary change, waiting for someone patient enough to examine dates and mint characteristics carefully. Collectors strongly warn against cleaning coins, because cleaning removes the original surface and can drastically reduce collector value even if the coin looks shinier afterward. The copper composition of the 1956 wheat penny also adds interest, since later pennies switched to different metal mixtures, making older copper coins historically distinctive. While most circulated 1956 pennies remain affordable collectibles, coins preserved in bright, uncirculated condition with strong details often attract premium collector interest. Occasionally, rolls of untouched coins appear from bank storage or inherited estates, and such discoveries spark excitement among collectors searching for high-grade examples. The wheat penny series itself represents an era when coins carried classic agricultural symbolism, reminding Americans of the nation's farming roots and economic resilience. Even coins found in dirty condition today still tell stories of countless everyday transactions, from grocery stores to school lunch counters and small-town businesses. Collectors enjoy imagining how many journeys a single penny has made before ending up forgotten in a jar, drawer, or inherited coin box decades later. Although owning a single penny will not instantly make someone a billionaire overnight, finding a rare or exceptionally preserved example can certainly bring unexpected financial rewards. The real power of coins like the 1956 wheat penny lies not only in their possible value, but in the historical connection they provide to everyday American life of the past. So before spending any old penny you find, take a moment to examine its date and condition carefully, because sometimes small coins hold surprisingly big stories. For many collectors, the thrill comes from knowing that somewhere in circulation or hidden storage, a rare coin might still be waiting to be discovered. And that simple curiosity, checking pocket change or exploring old coin jars, continues to inspire new generations of collectors to uncover forgotten pieces of history. In the end, the 1956 wheat penny remains a symbol of how ordinary money can become extraordinary over time, proving that even the smallest coin can carry a legacy worth exploring. Next up, the 1954 wheat penny begins its journey in a period when small copper coins powered everyday buying across America, moving constantly through stores, buses, cafes, and family savings jars, never imagined to become collectible treasures decades later. This coin was struck by the United States Mint, the institution responsible for producing official coinage, working tirelessly in the 1950s to supply billions of coins needed for a booming post-war economy. The D Mint mark on the coin tells us it was produced in Denver, where one of the major minting facilities operated at full speed to supply coins for western and central parts of the country. At that time, pennies circulated heavily across the United States of America, making them among the most touched and exchanged coins in the entire nation. The obverse of the coin proudly shows a portrait of Abraham Lincoln, honoring the president whose leadership preserved the nation during one of its most difficult historical moments. The design itself was created decades earlier by artist Victor David Brenner, whose elegant yet simple portrait style helped make the Lincoln cent one of the most recognizable coins in American history. In 1954, millions of pennies were produced, and most entered circulation immediately, passing through countless hands and becoming worn, scratched, and darkened from constant use. Because these pennies were everyday money, very few were saved in perfect condition, making high-grade surviving coins much harder to find today than many people expect. Collectors today carefully inspect coins for bright original surfaces, sharp lettering, and detailed wheat stalks on the reverse, signs that the coin escaped heavy circulation. Many coins discovered now appear dirty or stained, often pulled from drawers, jars, or old collections where they sat untouched for decades after everyday use. New collectors sometimes assume a dirty coin has no value, but experienced numismatists know condition, rarity, and mint errors matter more than simple appearance. Occasionally, rare minting mistakes, such as double lettering or off-center strikes, appear on wheat pennies, creating strong demand among collectors seeking unusual variations. Stories online sometimes claim ordinary coins are worth millions overnight, but in reality, only rare examples in exceptional condition bring extremely high prices. However, collectors still dream of finding overlooked treasures in old coin rolls or inherited family collections stored away for generations. The copper composition of the 1954 penny adds extra historical interest, as later pennies change metal composition, making earlier copper issues feel more classic to collectors. Coins preserved in uncirculated rolls or collections sometimes appear today, creating excitement when bright red original coins emerge after decades in storage. A coin's value grows when it combines rarity, strong visual appeal, and historical significance, all factors serious collectors consider when buying coins. The wheat penny design, showing wheat ears on the reverse, symbolized agricultural strength and economic resilience in mid-century America. Many pennies traveled across states and cities for years before finally resting forgotten in boxes or jars, silently carrying stories of everyday American life. Collectors warn strongly against cleaning coins, since cleaning damages a natural surface and can reduce collector value even if the coin appears shinier afterward. Even coins in worn condition still attract hobbyists because they connect modern collectors with everyday commerce of the past. Interest in wheat pennies has grown in recent decades as younger collectors rediscover classic American coin designs through online communities and coin shows. While a common 1954, D-penny will not instantly make someone a billionaire. Rare high-grade or error examples can still sell for impressive sums. The excitement comes from knowing valuable coins sometimes hide among ordinary change, waiting to be discovered by someone curious enough to look closely. Collectors often recommend checking inherited collections carefully because forgotten coin rolls sometimes hold surprisingly well-preserved examples. Each wheat penny tells a silent story, moving from hand to hand across decades before eventually landing in the hands of modern collectors. The thrill of coin collecting lies in the hunt, the history, and the possibility that a small coin might hold unexpected value. Finding a rare or beautiful coin encourages collectors to learn more about mint history, metal composition, and design changes across decades. Even if most coins remain modest in value, they still provide fascinating insight into economic life and craftsmanship of their era. In the end, the 1954 D. Wheat penny remains proof that even the smallest everyday coin can become a meaningful collectible piece of history, rewarding those who take the time to look carefully before spending their change. The 1958 D. Wheat penny comes from the final chapter of one of America's most beloved coin designs, a small copper coin that quietly passed through millions of hands without anyone realizing some pieces would later become collector favorites. This penny was produced by the United States Mint, which in the late 1950s was striking enormous quantities of coins to keep up with the rapidly growing economy and everyday cash transactions across the country. The small D mint mark tells collectors the coin was struck in Denver, one of the most important coin-producing facilities, serving the western half of the nation during that period. At the time, pennies were essential for daily purchases throughout the United States of America, making them some of the most heavily circulated coins in American history. On the front appears a familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln, a design that honored the president who preserved the Union and became one of the most recognized faces ever placed on American currency. The coin's design was originally created by artist Victor David Brenner, whose portrait style became so successful that it remained on the penny for generations. In 1958, millions upon millions of these pennies entered circulation immediately, traveling across stores, vending machines, buses, and family cash drawers, never meant to be saved as collectibles. Because people treated pennies as ordinary change, most coins became scratched, darkened, and worn, leaving far fewer pieces surviving today in brilliant, uncirculated condition. Collectors today search for coins that still show sharp wheat stalk details, bright copper color, and strong lettering, signs that the coin escaped heavy circulation. Many coins discovered now are found dirty, stained, or discolored after decades inside jars, boxes, or forgotten storage where moisture and time change their surfaces. Some people mistakenly believe dirty coins have no value, but seasoned collectors know rarity, preservation, and minting errors matter far more than surface color alone. The real excitement appears when rare mint errors or exceptionally preserved coins surface, since unusual variations often bring strong interest among collectors. Stories online sometimes promise overnight wealth from ordinary coins, but in reality only exceptional examples or rare errors command truly high prices. Still, the dream of finding a hidden treasure in pocket change keeps collectors searching through rolls of coins and inherited collections. The 1958 penny is especially interesting because it marks the last full year of the wheat reverse design before the Lincoln Memorial design replaced it in 1959. Coins kept in original bankrolls or collections sometimes appear decades later in nearly untouched condition, creating big excitement when opened. The copper composition added appeal because modern pennies use different metal mixtures, making these earlier copper coins feel heavier and more classic. Collectors carefully examine coins for doubling in letters or numbers, off-center strikes, or unusual features that increase rarity and value. Many pennies spent years traveling across states before being saved unknowingly by families who simply set aside spare change. Experienced collectors warn that cleaning coins can actually destroy collector value, even if the coin appears shinier afterward. Coins found in worn condition still hold historical charm, reminding collectors of everyday American life in the 1950s. Interest in wheat pennies continues to grow as younger collectors discover classic coin designs through videos, coin shops, and collecting communities. While a typical circulated 1958 D penny sells for modest amounts, rare high-grade examples or error coins can bring impressive prices at auction. The thrill comes from knowing valuable coins sometimes hide among common ones, waiting for careful collectors to discover them. Families often uncover forgotten coin collections in old boxes or drawers, occasionally revealing coins saved decades earlier. Each penny represents countless small purchases and moments in history, silently traveling through American commerce before becoming collectible. Collectors value these coins not only for money, but for the stories they carry about past generations and economic life. The wheat penny design itself symbolizes agriculture and prosperity, connecting the coin to America's farming heritage. Even coins are where still attract interest because they link modern collectors with real daily history. In the end, the 1958 D wheat penny proves that even the smallest coin in circulation can become a fascinating piece of history, rewarding those who check their change carefully before spending it. Next up, the 1943 D steel wheat penny stands as one of the most fascinating emergency coins ever produced in American history, a small cent born during a time when global conflict forced a nation to rethink even the metal used in everyday money. During World War II, copper was desperately needed for military equipment, ammunition, and communication systems. So the United States Mint made the extraordinary decision to strike pennies from zinc-coated steel instead of traditional copper. The coin bearing the D Mint mark was struck in Denver, where millions of these unusual silver-colored cents rolled off the presses to keep commerce moving across the country. At that time, everyday life throughout the United States of America was deeply shaped by wartime rationing, industrial production, and patriotic sacrifice, making even a 1-cent coin part of the national war effort. On the front of the coin appears a portrait of Abraham Lincoln, the beloved president whose image had already appeared on pennies for decades as a symbol of unity and resilience. The design was created by artist Victor David Brenner, whose work gave the penny its instantly recognizable appearance that millions still know today. Unlike the warm copper pennies people were used to, the 1943 steel cents looked bright and silver, confusing many Americans who initially mistook them for dimes. Because steel reacts differently than copper, many coins quickly developed spots, rust marks, and dull gray surfaces after circulating in pockets and cash registers across the nation. As a result, finding a 1943 D penny today in clean, shiny condition is much harder than finding worn examples, since many coins deteriorated over time. Collectors now search carefully for pieces that still show sharp wheat stalk details and minimal corrosion, signs that the coin survived decades without heavy damage. Some coins discovered in jars or old drawers appear dirty or stained. Yet even worn examples attract attention because they represent a unique moment in American minting history. The greatest excitement appears when collectors discover rare errors, especially copper pennies accidentally struck in 1943 using leftover bronze planchets from 1942. Those accidental copper pieces are extremely rare and have sold for astonishing prices, making them legendary among coin collectors worldwide. Because of these stories, many people dream of finding a fortune in their spare change, though most steel cents remain affordable collectibles rather than instant wealth. Still, the thrill of searching through coins continues to attract new collectors hoping to uncover overlooked treasures hidden for decades. The steel composition also caused problems in circulation, since coins sometimes stuck to magnets or rusted when exposed to moisture, frustrating store owners and consumers. By 1944, the Mint returned to copper pennies using recycled shell casings, making the steel cent a short but unforgettable chapter in coin history. Collectors today value coins that avoided circulation damage, especially pieces saved in old collections or original bankrolls. Cleaning coins might seem helpful, but experienced collectors warn that polishing often destroys value by scratching delicate surfaces. Stories frequently exaggerate coin prices by promising overnight riches, yet the true value depends on rarity, condition, and verified minting errors. Even so, discovering a well-preserved steel penny still creates excitement, especially when families uncover coins saved by grandparents decades earlier. Each 1943 D-cent passed through countless hands during wartime America, silently participating in daily life while the nation faced enormous global challenges. Many coins travel across states before being tucked away unknowingly in drawers, jars, or forgotten envelopes where they remained hidden for generations. Collectors love these coins not only for potential value, but also for the powerful historical story they carry about sacrifice and innovation. The silver appearance still surprises people today, reminding them that this penny looks unlike any other produced before or after. When examining a steel penny, collectors check carefully for signs of plating damage, rust, or unusual striking features that may add collector interest. Even heavily circulated examples serve as historical artifacts, connecting modern collectors with everyday wartime transactions. While most steel pennies are modestly valued, exceptional coins or rare mistakes can reach impressive auction prices, fueling ongoing treasure hunting excitement. The real reward, however, lies in discovering history in your own pocket change and understanding how even small coins reflect big moments in national history. In the end, the 1943 D. Steel Wheat Penny proves that ordinary money sometimes carries extraordinary stories, and careful collectors who look closely may uncover coins far more interesting than they ever expected. Next up, the 1955 wheat penny without a mint mark is one of the most talked about small coins in American collecting history. A simple 1-cent piece that turned into a legend because of rare production mistakes that shock collectors and continue to excite treasure hunters today. This coin was produced by the United States Mint during a time when millions of pennies were being struck every day to keep commerce moving across the country, and most coins from that year were meant to be completely ordinary pieces of pocket change. Coins without a mint mark in 1955 were struck in Philadelphia, the main mint facility responsible for producing enormous quantities of cents used by citizens across the nation. At the time, daily life across the United States of America was booming after the war years, and coins passed quickly through grocery stores, gas stations, movie theaters, and family businesses without anyone imagining their future collectible value. The front of the coin features a famous portrait of Abraham Lincoln, a design Americans had grown familiar with for decades, representing unity and leadership preserved in metal for everyday circulation. The artwork was created by designer Victor David Brenner, whose initials still appear on many Lincoln cents, and whose design helped shape one of the longest-running coin images in American history. Most 1955 pennies were struck normally, but a small number left the mint with dramatic double-die error, where letters and numbers appear clearly doubled, making the coin look almost blurry yet sharply duplicated at the same time. This unusual doubling was caused during the die creation process, when impressions used to form the working die shifted slightly, producing coins where words like liberty and the date appear strongly doubled. When these coins entered circulation, people quickly noticed something strange about them, and some clever observers began saving them, realizing they were seeing something out of the ordinary. Today, that famous 1955 double-die penny is considered one of the most famous error coins ever produced, with strong examples selling for impressive amounts depending on condition. However, not every 1955 penny is rare, and many coins found today are ordinary circulation pieces that show heavy wear, scratches, and discoloration from decades of handling. Coins discovered in dirty or stained condition often come from jars, drawers, or collections stored for years, reminding us how common coins can quietly survive through generations unnoticed. Collectors often examine these coins carefully under light, searching for clear doubling or unusual details that separate a valuable error from a normal penny. Excitement builds when someone believes they have discovered one of these rare coins, because stories of high auction prices inspire dreams of unexpected fortune. Still, most circulated examples show fading details, dark copper coloring, and worn wheat stalk designs on the reverse side after years of pocket use. Cleaning coins may seem tempting, but experienced collectors warn that scrubbing or polishing usually damages surfaces and lowers collectible value. The fascination with the 1955 penny continues because it shows how even a tiny production mistake can transform an everyday object into a sought-after collectible. Many families unknowingly save these coins in jars or albums, passing them down through generations without realizing they held pieces admired by collectors worldwide. Market prices depend heavily on condition, with sharply detailed, well-preserved examples bringing far more interest than worn coins found in circulation. Videos and stories sometimes exaggerate values, promising overnight riches, but true collectors understand that only specific rare errors achieve major prices. Even so, the thrill of searching pocket change remains strong, since valuable coins have occasionally surfaced in ordinary circulation years after being minted. Each 1955 penny carries a piece of mid-century American life, having traveled through countless transactions before eventually landing in collections or storage. Collectors love these coins not only for value, but also for the story they tell about manufacturing processes and historical minting practices. Some coins appear heavily toned or dirty, yet even these pieces connect modern owners with decades of American commerce and family history. The wheat design on the reverse, framing the words 1 cent, reminds collectors of an era before modern shield and memorial penny designs replaced it. While most 1955 pennies remain modest collectibles, The rare double-die version continues to capture imagination and keeps collectors searching carefully. The lesson many collectors share is to examine coins closely before spending them, because unusual details sometimes hide in plain sight. Ultimately, the 1955 wheat penny proves that even the smallest coin can carry enormous historical and collectible interest when chance and minting mistakes combine. For many collectors, discovering such a coin is not just about money, but about uncovering a fascinating story hidden within everyday change. And so, every time someone sorts through old pennies, the possibility remains that a remarkable 1955 coin could still be waiting quietly, ready to surprise its find to a small but powerful piece of American coin history.